everyone. It's that time of the day. Welcome to the 4th Street Sports Show, an award-winning student podcast covering all things Golden Eagles. What's going on, guys and gals? You are now on 4th Street with your host, Smooth Ost, and the rest of the crew, as always, Charlie, Jackson, Nathan in the back. Shout out to our producer, Sky, and Dima, man. Dima, you look like you got a couple things on your mind, man. What do you got going on, man?
Well, I was thinking today, I was like, there's something going on this weekend, and I can't... Oh, wait, it's football. We got football this weekend. That's right. My bad.
That's right, man.
If anyone forgot.
I don't think anyone forgot.
Okay, because I did.
I mean, what better way than to remind you than Dima saying it's football week?
Dima putting his whole coverage schedule out for Twitter to see.
Yes, I feel like he's telling us the secrets of Dumbledore or something.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I'll tell you the secrets, all right.
But yeah, guys, there's a lot going on. Of course, it's football this week. We know September the 3rd, it all goes down against Liberty. We cannot wait to get started. It's been a fun and exciting time. We can't wait to just get out there in front of Spirit Park and just see the festivities that go on down the Eagle Walk before the game and after the game, to just share all of our coverage that we have for the student prints here and for SM2, as we like to call it now. But getting into things, we have a special interview with a couple of twins, guys. We got some twins on the show. I think this is a 4th Street first, right?
That's special.
Yes.
I think it's going to be a fun and a special interview. These twins, not to give too much away, but they've pretty much been together through every step in football their whole life, so it's going to be pretty awesome to talk to them.
It'll be pretty awesome. I know you didn't want to give it away, but I'll give it away, Charlie. We will have Cameron and Kyren Barnes. They are true freshmen from Adams County Christian School up there in Natchez, Mississippi. So we're going to have a blast interviewing those guys. So we'll have the twins coming on and we'll talk to them. But also, guys, we have a special podcast coming to you this Thursday. A special podcast coming to you this Thursday, which is a 4th Street preview football special, guys, where we lay out our full-on predictions for the season and we break down the Sun Belt and what we think about Southern Miss football this year. So that's what we have coming up. But now we transition, guys. We're cruising down the street, down 4th Street, into our Eagle Eye. And we'll get started into our Eagle Eye, guys, by first taking a interview from the I was about to say interview from the past. I was trying to say blast from the past, but you get it now. Mm-hmm. We're taking an interview from the past month or so at the Sun Belt Media Days, where I had the chance to interview Commissioner Keith Gill. So we'll get into that. We have a special wrap, and as he talks about Southern Miss football and the great things that we have coming up. So let's get into it, guys.
The sun is setting on the offseason, and on the other side, Southern Miss hopes to rise in their inaugural season with the Sun Belt Conference. Sun Belt Commissioner Keith Gill believes that the conference is growing stronger with the addition of its 4 new members.
We've got good momentum. It's great. We're in a great place. Quality league, quality success. But I actually do think that our best days are ahead of us.
It's this trajectory that has fans, coaches, and players all excited to be part of the conference. And the connection was mutual. Southern Miss was the epitome of what the Sun Belt was searching for in a new member, a distinguished regional program with a rich history. It's something that Gill can attest to himself.
When I was a kid, I grew up a Florida State fan. I grew up from Florida. And so, I can remember the losses to Southern Miss, thinking that, Florida State was this great team. And that's really some of my early memories of Southern Miss just beating these high-quality teams. And so, to me, when I think Southern Miss, I think winning tradition.
With all eyes on Southern Miss football now, there's excitement for their chance to build on that history this season, with some familiar faces on their schedule and others that could turn into new rivalries.
There's some great regional rivalries. In some ways, we're restarting a lot of good rivalries, Louisiana, Troy, South Alabama. There's a lot of history there with Southern Miss. So I think the regional rivalry piece will be awesome.
Gill said he plans on coming to Southern Miss's game against Tulane in Week 4 and then the Golden Eagles Thursday night matchup against the Louisiana Raging Cajuns in Week 8. Until then, Gill will be watching with hopeful eyes on Southern Miss's season.
I think they're really close. I'm really excited about what this football season will be for them, the way they ended last year in terms of kind of getting some things going. So I think there's great opportunities to have success there in football.
This has been Charlie Luttrell with Southern Miss Radio.
That was Charlie on our wrap on Commissioner Keith Gill and his thoughts on Southern Miss starting this Saturday, guys, against Liberty. What a time to be alive. There are a lot of different stories and just headlines to be told this week coming up. But without further ado, I'll hand it over to you, Demon, because I know you have a lot, man, and you've been covering it. And you have a new podcast coming, man. I feel like he's breaking a code, going against 4th Street Code by starting another podcast.
It's cool though, because it's like the marvels of student journalists.
Yes.
Yeah. So what do you want me to talk about first? The podcast?
Yeah, talk about the podcast.
Okay,
and then
yeah.
Get into
so,
all the headlines we have.
You can go on Twitter and follow Student Media Poll. And on Student Media Poll, various people in Student Media, Austin, I think you vote. You're a voter, right?
Yes, I am
a
voter.
So we vote on national college football. So we have a poll there. So through that organization, Student Media Poll, they have various podcasts that they asked me to be on.
Mm-hmm.
So we made a podcast specifically about the Sun Belt. So it's going to be called Fun in the Sun. And we're going to have our first episode come out on Friday, kind of picking Sun Belt, who's going to win the Sun Belt, and previewing Saturday's games as well. So it's going to be fun in the sun. But as we look over to Southern Miss, more specifically at Southern Miss, Will Hall today was on a Zoom call with every single coach. It's not clear whether or not this is going to be weekly or not, but just some of the highlights. He talked about how he's excited to kick off the season, as we all are excited to be there Saturday to watch the game. Hall mentioned that they have a tremendous amount of respect for Liberty and understands what a quote-unquote tremendous challenge this will be. He also said that they were he said we were not consistent on offense. He said they were consistently somebody asked him if they were consistent on offense, and he said, yes, we were consistent on offense. We were consistently pathetic on offense last season. And he said he hopes the offense will put the defense in a better spot than last season. Then he says that Ty Keys has a chance to have a tremendous future, and he praised the linebacker room after losing Hayes Maples. So kind of stuff we've heard before, but that's what all was said this morning. I was kind of logging on during class, so I was listening to philosophy while trying to listen to football at the same time, so it doesn't really
Football philosophy.
Yeah, I think you got a football philosophy right there going on.
Yeah. If your philosophy teacher is listening, she's not going to be happy.
She's normally not happy.
That's a discussion for another.
Go on.
Dang. But I did want to say, Coach Hall is always honest.
Yes.
And we talked about that in our preview, is that he's going to tell it as it is. And, I mean, looking at that offense, that's been one of the biggest questions, is that there are a lot of questions on offense, but they do have lots of talent. And I was reading Hugh Freeze's Q&A written by John Manson of A Sea of Red, and Hugh Freeze was, kind of coach talk, but he was saying he had a lot to say about Southern Miss and just the talent they do have on offense. He said that, quote unquote, that he thinks they're going to be one of the most improved teams in college football this year, which I thought was pretty interesting to hear from Hugh Freeze. So lots of high praise between the two coaches. And did you really get a chance to hear of any of the other coaches today and what they were talking about?
It was kind of hard to hear because I was trying to listen to class at the same time, but I did hear from Louisiana's coach, and they asked him, you have the longest winning streak in college football, and he was like, do you feel that that's an honor? And he says, yeah, we take that as an honor, and we take that as, and we. But he was talking about how they use it to motivate their players, which I thought was interesting. But other than that, I wasn't really paying attention. But
I think he was paying attention to philosophy.
I would have rather been paying attention to football, but it's kind of hard when you're talking about whether or not we're living in a matrix or not.
And we've gone over on and on about Southern Miss being in the Sun Belt, but we just wanted to bring back that interview that Austin did with Commissioner Keith Gill, because he talked about how this is the year that he thinks, he said, and included it, he said the Sun Belt's best years are ahead of us. So you look at with these new members, lots of the competition is at its highest it's been in the Sun Belt ever with some of these programs, and then you add these new programs who are trying to get on the rise too. There's a lot to be excited about. So we talked fully in the preview that will come out this Thursday about each game, going game by game. But let's talk about the Sun Belt competition this year. Just, of course, we got the non-conference schedule first, but looking at this schedule, looking at the Sun Belt competition, what Southern Miss is going to have to face this season. What are y'all thinking?
I just want to say that it starts out with Troy, and then there's Arkansas State and Texas State, and that's actually pretty manageable. And then there is a brutal 4-game stretch on that schedule. You got Louisiana coming to town, Georgia State coming to town, going to Coastal Carolina, and then South Alabama, who's expected to be much improved, coming to town. That's a tough stretch for the Golden Eagles. That's one where they could, in theory, go 0-4. We obviously hope that's not the case. But I don't remember going back last year to Conference USA and seeing that preseason that they're just going to lose. And it's really interesting to see that in the Sun Belt, we expect them to be improved, but the competition's much higher. It's going to be interesting to see how they fare.
I definitely would agree, Jackson, on that statement, too, that in Conference USA, just looking at that schedule from the previous year, if it was somewhat of a regular year and they just had somewhat of a decent quarterback, I guess, to have some type of stability there, it seemed like that schedule was pretty easy to coast by. But this schedule just seems like it's definitely more tougher when you look at it, especially when you talk about that 3-game stretch between Louisiana, Georgia State, Coastal, and then South Alabama, who's a team that's actually on the rise. I know that they got a lot of preseason hype going into this season, so that'll be interesting to see too. But just like you said, starting off the season, you have Troy, Arkansas State, and Texas State. Those seem like winnable games. But as you go further into that schedule, that's where the dip-off seems to more than likely, happen or so. We'll have to see, though, of course.
And again, we went game by game in our preview, but I think like Jackson was saying, we're gonna see what this team is capable of in these first 4 weeks. Really, Coach Hall did say Friday that this is gonna be a team in December that's better, as kind of a way to lower expectations. I always say that fans, regardless of fan base, they're always going to have the highest of expectations. But the first 4 games are very tough games: Liberty, Miami, Northwestern, and Tulane. And let's start Northwestern State. Yeah, not Northwestern. Thank you.
They're not going to Dublin.
Yeah. Hey, that would be pretty cool. But let's talk about this home game. Obviously,
Yeah.
Saturday, September 3rd, coming up, just a couple days away.
Yeah, and like we said, we are not going to predict here because we're going to tailor or postpone our predictions. We've already recorded it, so I already know what everybody picks.
Yeah.
But it'll come out Thursday morning. But just previewing that game just a little bit, I think this might be the most, going into a football season, like the most anticipated unknown game of Southern Miss in a long time. Because the fans are excited, right? They're like, oh my gosh, we get to play football on Saturday, but they're also like, I don't know what to expect, So, and I think that that's the same on the other side of the ball for Liberty as well. For their fans, coming all the way down here to Hattiesburg, they don't know what they're going to expect from the Southern Miss team.
Especially transitioning from a high-caliber athlete as Malik Willis, and, they still have questions to ask. And just to piggyback off of that, too, I feel like this is one of those games where, Liberty is not in the Sun Belt, but it feels like a Sun Belt Conference type of game, just the way that Liberty has been able to just be a phenomenal program in the past, couple of years. So I think that this is one of those games where it's the way to start the season. Exactly, one of the best ways to start the season against a tough opponent that could be beatable. But it just seems like this is a game of trial and error right now. If we're just being honest right now, we'll just have to see where the Southern Miss stands. This is one of those type of games, but it feels like a Sun Belt game. Just the way that the anticipation has been built up over this matchup.
And when we recorded the preview pod yesterday, we were predicting with the spread and against the spread. The line has moved a little bit since we recorded that, so it was at 3.5 now, which it was at 3.5 yesterday. The over and under came down, so it was at 51, but now it's all the way down to 49.5.
Oh, okay. More to our favor.
More to all of our favor. Not spoiling anything,
not spoiling.
but you need to go listen to it on Thursday.
Yeah, definitely. So definitely go listen to that on Thursday. It is dropping Thursday morning, guys. It is dropping Thursday morning. That will be the 4th Street Preview Football Special. You don't want to miss it. It will be on all podcast platforms coming up, and we will be sure to announce that because you don't want to miss it. But going into things, guys, we will come back with an interview with the Barnes twins, Cameron and Kyren, from Adams County Christian High School, where they are now true freshmen here and play play on the offensive line for Southern Miss football. We'll be back with more, and we'll have our flowers after that, guys. Hopefully you enjoy and come back and listen to us on 4th Street Sports. We got an interview coming up, guys.
Right here.
like the 4th Street and like Malik Short said, we got more dogs on. We got a couple of dogs on the show with us now. We have Cameron and Kyren Barnes. Welcome to the show, guys. How are y'all doing?
I'm good. Excited to be here.
We're excited to have y'all on. The two are part of Southern Miss football. They are true freshmen coming from Adams County Christian High School. And just to hop into it, guys, just what has been the overall feel for you guys just adjusting to college life so far? And just, you don't really hear this, as often, twins coming to the same school, same Division I school to play football. How is that just to be your brother to just be along the step with you every way?
Well, start off, it's truly a blessing. There's not a lot of people that had the opportunity that we had. So just coming up here along all the other offers I had to play football with him, it's just a blessing. So originally, coming up here was different because I have aunties and stuff around the area, but I'm up here by myself, but I have a little bit more freedom, so I like that part about it. But just adjusting to college life is a big adjustment.
Yeah, I would say like the hardest adjustment for us was having to wake up on time for practice. We really had to do that where we were from.
Yeah.
So, and then we had to wake up early for practice and go in and give it our all. So.
Yeah. Did you slack off a little bit?
No, I didn't want to. I didn't want to get put on the bubble.
Hey, we had to wake up too. It was a struggle, and we were like, I don't know how y'all are doing that in the heat. But what was y'all's experience at this fall camp? They had y'all doing a lot, and especially with Coach Greg.
Well, practice was difficult, but I like the competition side of practice. That gave us opportunity to go out there and compete against the defense side, and we have a really nice defense like we always do. And this year the offense is coming along to make a really perfect team, so I really like the competition side. But the hardest part really was just doing it every day, the whole day thing, waking up at 5 every day, going to meetings every day.
And what have y'all learned like from that experience already? Just
I had my wake up call on a play. I pulled and got knocked on my butt. I never been on my butt before, but it's just nothing but a lesson. Just getting the experience with better players makes you better. Iron sharpen iron. That's what we've been talking about for these past couple of weeks, and just us going against better players to make us better. It'll make the team better as a whole.
And you go ahead.
Something I just want to ask is a big part of the offensive line is calling out pass blocking schemes. So sometimes it's the center, sometimes it's the quarterback. Obviously, y'all play right next to each other, and since y'all are brothers and have known each other longer than everybody else, does that kind of help with knowing whose assignment is who?
Well, it was easier in high school, but now that we're in college and we freshmen, so we're getting ready to learn the calls ourselves. So hopefully, in the future, it'll become more natural to me and him. But in high school, it was real easy for me and Kyren to click on to what we have to do. But here, we just have to go with the program and say it out loud just like everybody else.
Because on the O-line, everything has an assignment. Like, at high school, all we just did was run off the ball, blow people off the ball, or just, hey, I take care of both of these guys, you just go to the linebacker. Now it's like we have to hit this guy, or we have to get to this point, or we got to put this guy inside so the ball can run right outside of us.
And it's not really much of a going off the ball anymore. We have to take steps now, and that's a huge adjustment for me, because I'm used to going off the ball and just wrecking people. Now I got to know what the steps to do and take the right one, because now if I take the wrong steps, everything will go wrong.
Yeah, and could you guys also talk about just the synchronization between you two, from playing on both sides, playing on the same side of the ball, playing on the same side of the field, like you said, just going to blow up guys and just get into your spots. Like, could you just talk about the synchronization and how you guys kind of just work out those kinks between each other, playing with each other for so long, and is it just clockwork at this point?
It really is. It's not much to it, because our whole lives we've been around each other. Like, you can ask anybody, we rarely separate. Like, I don't like being in places without him. Like, he could go to Dollar General, and I'd be like, worried, sick, what would happen to him. Just like the other day, we was at Wingstop getting food, and I was in there too long, and he came in looking for me. So, like, what I'm just saying is, just all the day is just natural to us at this point.
Yeah.
Is it kind of like an eye contact thing where you like,
No, it's more in the head type thing.
Yeah.
We'll just know.
And
So,
some twins kind of decide to go off on their own or like make sure you know they know who's who. But y'all have obviously made it to where you know y'all are the Barnes twins. Was that like an active decision or just something you kind of just was natural?
it's just natural. We was raised together, brought up together. We did everything together. We never did nothing without each other. So just at this point, it's just hard to separate that.
Yeah.
We have a bond that nobody else will ever have.
And at a young age, our parents told us that we always gotta stick together. I don't think they meant for us to take it this literal, but I mean, it is what it is.
And going back to your past, you know, y'all have played. I read an article saying that y'all had played together since 5. Just how has that been? Just do y'all remember when y'all first kind of fell in love in football and what?
10th grade.
10th grade.
For the longest, me and him was basketball players.
Yeah.
Like, you would ask me in 7th grade, NFL wasn't nowhere near one of the things I wanted to do. I wanted to go play basketball. So we played football just to keep us in shape and all, but during the summer, every time, all time we was in the gym practicing basketball. So I got a lot of my athleticism from basketball, working with my dad and my friend, uncles, just grinding, trying to play basketball, trying to be great.
and
Then 10th grade,
came and we set the bench because you know we made a transition from going from our public school to our private school in Natchez. You know that we live 30 minutes away in Fayette, Mississippi. We came in, freshman was still junior high at that time. So 10th grade was basically freshman year. So our 10th grade basketball season, we had to sit the bench. And then me and him was like, man,
I don't even know.
Then we got real big during COVID year. I gained 50 pounds, came 290. And he was 270, and we realized how big we were. Then we took football seriously over the summer. And we fell in love with our 10th grade summer.
Yeah, just over COVID time, we was in our den with our dad outside, just doing stuff every day, little stuff to make us better. So I really owe it to him for getting us here where we are now.
of course, and who just decision it was to play football and just, you know, was it just a joint thing where
Yeah,
y'all like
everything we
going
do
all
is a
in?
group decision.
Yeah, so it was like a group meeting between y'all two, like
Yeah,
this
we
is
just sat down in the locker room one day and was like, you know what? I really miss football. I'm starting to like football better. We just took off with it.
Yeah.
And growing up together as twins, y'all have talked about lots of the pros, but what were the challenges? Were there any challenges, you know, growing up, especially like maybe at school?
Well, when we was younger, we went to every Natchez elementary school. And even though we were still from Fayette, we started off in Fayette, then went from Natchez from our 1st grade year to our 6th grade year. And then we went back to Fayette our 7th grade year and our 8th grade year. So I guess the challenge between that point was really just being primed to our development. We didn't let nobody dislocate us from where we from. A lot of people like to say we were from Natchez because that's what they used to say. But we would forever claim our city as Fayette. And even when we was in Natchez school, when they had to play each other and stuff, they be wanting us to pick Natchez side because we was in their school and that worked. So that was really a challenge then. We came back to Fayette year, our 7th, 8th grade year. Had to go back and make a name for ourselves through basketball, of course, for some reason. Yeah.
I want to talk back to y'all's recruiting process. Were one of y'all approached first by Southern Miss, and would y'all be here today if they only offered one of y'all instead of both of y'all?
We wasn't gonna separate. The good thing, every offer we had was together, so we was going with each other
Regardless.
And when we signed, we was in the office with Coach Hall, and he said he came across his film first and watched his film, and then can't remember what coach it was. Said it's 2 of them. So then he seen it was both of us, and he just offered us when he got a chance to. That was really a blessing for us because our first offers was to Southern Miss.
Wow. Wow. Y'all, and I like that. Y'all have some leverage as a package deal. We know that y'all might not be identical in everything. I just want to kind of know who has the bragging rights over what. And it could be basketball, y'all game.
Well, I personally think he's better than me in basketball, but we
It's true.
play one-on-one. I'm gonna win majority of the time because all my life I've been taller and bigger and stronger than him, so I just bullied him basically. And
I don't know
but
about
he's
that now.
faster than me. I won majority of the time. I didn't really lose.
He was seeing him literally just post up all day. Drop step, post up, back me down. And when I get the ball, I want to do everything. I want to cross him up or shoot the ball and work on my layup. And then he would just, I wasn't a good shooter though. I wasn't. I was a good shooter in the backyard. But in the gym, I wasn't the greatest shooter. I just knocked down the shots
That
when I
was
could.
important.
And y'all have talked about transitioning and from 10th grade, basically, when y'all made y'all's decision that football was what you wanted, and to now being college player. I want to know, I know y'all talked a little about fall camp, but your experience so far with Coach Greg, you know, he's new to the program. Just what has he been like compared to other coaches you've had in the past? Like, what?
He's wonderful. I mean, we had great coaches at our high school, but Coach Greg and Coach Hall and the whole USM coaching staff is wonderful, especially our relationship with Coach Greg. I really enjoyed it. He's not going to sugarcoat anything you do.
I like the fact that he actually is hard on us, because I wouldn't want a coach that's just like, yeah, it's okay, do this, or it's all right, just move on. I was like, my dad was that way. He's always been hard on us, so just having another guy be pushing us through everything, like, it's really well for us.
Now in high school, I know you guys played left guard and left tackle. Now just talk about the little bit of the adjustment, or how much of not an adjustment it was from going from right guard to right tackle in college.
It really wasn't much of an adjustment. I know in high school, our coaching staff wanted us in the three-point stand, which was okay with us, except for only thing I would say was wrong with our three-point stand, both our right hand was down. Now here, if you play left side, your left hand gotta be down. We knew that, but it just didn't feel comfortable for us. But naturally, when I got here, my stance was wide. So Coach Greg and the other players helped me get a normal, more of a shoulder width type stance, so I could be able to move better, and help me get out my stance better.
What kind of offense did y'all run in high school? And is it kind of jarring coming to an offense where it's kind of 50-50, where they throw it and they run it?
Well, our 9th, 10th, and 11th grade year, we didn't have a quarterback. My 9th grade year, we had a quarterback, but we was junior high players, and you had to work your way up and move up to varsity team.
So we moved up, and we won a state championship that year with Jakaris Caston, and our quarterback was Sterling Yarbrough, who is currently deceased. It hit us hard when he died. He died like a year later. But it was a lot of good players on that team, because the other private school in that area shut down, and they all came over. So I looked up to a lot of the guys on that team, because I was just a lit dog then. A lot of guys was bigger than me. A lot of guys was just bullying me around when I was out there. But I looked up to them guys truthfully, and I wanted to beat them. I wanted to beat them
and be better than them.
I'm sorry to hear about y'all's teammates' loss. But you mentioned Cashton. I actually didn't know that. What's it been like, you know, having him here?
It was great. He's really helpful.
He's like a big brother every day.
Before we actually came up here, he would just text us, and every time we seen him, he would just make sure we was all right and ready to go, because he knew that it was different from high school. He was just gonna make sure that what we do is just stay focused and push through everything. Everything's gonna be all right when we come up here.
And just 5 days away from Liberty now, how are y'all feeling?
I'm so excited. I can't wait to walk down the Eagle Walk, and you know, this is my first college game, so I'm pumped up. I'm ready to see what it's like. I'm ready to hit the field. I'm ready to see what game day experience is like. Players tell us all the time that it's hard during the summer and the spring and the fall, but it's easier when the season comes. I mean, it's been a little bit easy. It's not really much of a slack off difference, but I just want to know what it feels like on game day.
And if y'all are listening, make sure to show the Barnes fans some love, fans, at the Eagle Walk and at the Rock. And we thank y'all for coming on the show.
Yes, sir.
Remember, 66 and 64, right?
Yes,
Keep
sir.
an eye on them.
Oh yeah, and to mention that, I know you guys had like, correct me if I'm wrong, but you guys had what number 64 and 65 was in high school, or 65 and
All is the same number.
Oh,
We moved up from 9th grade. And our coach was like, "You gotta get a varsity number. And 54 and 55 and 52 is not open, so you just gotta get a 60 number." That's our first time wearing a 60 number,
yeah,
and we wore 60 ever since then.
gotcha.
Now it's kind of now 64 is my number.
How does it
66
feel
my
to
number.
have that gap in between, like
It's fine
Yeah.
because
I don't really, neither one of us really feel like the number 65 will look good on us anyway. So, and then it'll give us a little bit of separation. I mean, we close and like being around each other, but you know, we still need that little bit of separation.
Of course, and then them gives it to y'all. But thanks for coming on, guys. As always, it was a pleasure to have you on. We wish you guys luck on the season and many more blessings. That was the Barnes twins, Cameron and Kyren. Thanks for coming on, guys. Have a nice one. We'll be back in a little bit with our flower section, and we'll be back with 4th Street, baby. Let's get it. flower section. That was Silent Hill by Kendrick Lamar featuring Kodak Black. That's one of my favorite songs right now, guys. I'm not gonna lie. I like that song. I really like it. But let's hop into the flower section. I'll hand it over to you, Charlie, man. Let's get started on some soccer news, man.
Yes, we got to go back to soccer. We're not going to forget about them. They started out last week with a 2-0 loss against Alabama as the Crimson Tide put 32 shots up against them against their 5. So it wasn't a pretty game. But goalkeeper Kasaya Bruni recorded a career high of 10 saves in the loss. So 10-2. It was a pretty impressive game from her statistically. Southern Miss was set to make its home debut this past Sunday, yesterday, but that game was canceled due to COVID protocols within the MVSU, Mississippi Valley State University, and they will pick up their SEC tour again, as we've said, a busy schedule for them with a big game at home against LSU this coming Sunday, September 4th. So Liberty, and then you better be at the LSU soccer game.
And we move to volleyball now, where Southern Miss Volleyball started the season with a bang, with a win in 3 sets against UTSA that marked the 600th win in program history. And if I'm not mistaken, was that the first road win?
So it's technically considered a neutral game.
Okay.
So technically the away streak still exists.
Okay.
Because they lost against the home Alabama.
Nice to break it, though.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Well, either way, they won at a game that was not in Hattiesburg.
Yeah.
That's good to see. We had Mia Wesley left. She started off right where she left off. She had 16 kills, which matches the most in a season opener since 2016. And they got the sweep on Friday, I believe. They beat McNeese State, with Wesley again leading the attack with 14 kills. And then Niner Bedette, she did it all. She tallied 7 kills with 7 blocks. And unfortunately, the Golden Eagles fell just short to Alabama to finish the Crimson Tide Invitational, but Wesley led the team with 21 kills, so she is starting off well. Golden Eagles travel to Mason, Georgia to participate in the Mercer Bears Classic, with games starting Friday through Saturday against Charleston Southern, Mercer, and Queens.
And that's an impressive start. I want to say we aren't doing the 4th Street Player of the Week yet until football starts, but if it were to go out, it would go to Mia. We're just going to go by default.
Of course, and she's definitely special. If y'all haven't been to a volleyball match yet, please get there. I know the first match will be starting actually not this week, but the upcoming week. So in 2 weeks, it'll be September the 9th and the 10th. You guys and gals have to get there to see Mia Wesley and the rest of the gang, because she's definitely a generational talent. Like, she's fun to watch. Like I said, volleyball is my favorite sport. I told Jenny Hazelwood that. But continuing on, we have women's golf actually starting this Saturday too. So hey, it's not just football starting this week. Women's golf is starting this week. So hey, you know, if you want to get on the greens and miss the gridiron on Saturday at Southern Miss, get on the greens.
Back-to-back Conference USA Freshman of the Year awards for that team, so they got a lot to be proud of this season, and hopefully we see some good stuff from them this season.
Yes, hopefully we do see some good stuff from them, but we all know what the huge topic is. It's football.
And yeah, we did want to mention former Southern Miss wide receiver Tim Jones is kind of fighting for that spot on Jaguars roster. Haven't heard yet, but if they cut him, I don't think they know football, which it is the Jaguars. So he caught 3 catches for 103 yards, and then 5 catches.
Somebody can play offense? No, get off the team.
But anyways, he put up nearly 200 yards receiving in the last 2 preseason games. So I think he should make that spot.
Well, I saw today where Jacksonville traded one of their wide receivers to Carolina, LaVisca Chenault. So that's one more roster spot for the Jacksonville Jaguars at wide receiver, maybe.
There we go.
Hey, Tim Jones, your spot may be there. We will see. Hopefully he is there, man. He's played stellar in the preseason. You see all of the things they have going on in Jacksonville, hopefully with Tim Jones. So we'll see. But last but not least, we have our last flower, which is Southern Miss Volleyball achieving 600 wins in program history. What a way to start the season for Jenny Hazelwood. Getting that 600 win to start the season is pretty a remarkable feat. To start the season like that kind of sounds like Coach McNelis's feat that she started the season off with 500 career wins. So that is our last flower of the day.
2.
But we are about to end the things off. That was the cue right there.
Yeah.
So
It's the
any last
Oscar
mo-
music.
Any last remarks before I count it down and you hear my cacao on the station, man? Any last remarks on this week? What you're looking forward to?
I will say that it is game week. We have a lot of stuff coming out. Wednesday is the first paper, right? So,
Yes.
So the Wednesday, if you're on campus, be looking around for the first paper. And then Thursday morning is our huge prediction podcast. So do not miss it. We will obviously blow it up with it on social media, but we encourage you all to listen to it. You'll hear our Liberty game picks and our Southern Miss season picks.
And stay tuned Saturday. We will all be at the game. You guys for the Student Prince, I for Big Gold Nation. So stay tuned for continuous coverage throughout the week.
I like that.
There's a game on
Continuous.
Saturday?
I think so. That's what I heard.
I didn't know that.
Oh, you forgot? I thought you reminded us.
Oh, it slipped my mind again.
Yeah.
Oh, man. So that has been
When I got
man.
abducted by aliens when you were interviewing the Barnes twins.
Yeah.
I forgot.
Where did Dima go? Oh, my God. He just made
was
a
getting
fast
the cake.
entrance. Like,
I was abducted
oh my
by
God.
aliens, and then I forgot there was football on Saturdays.
Yeah. So you can't
Glad to
forget
hear
that
it,
it's
though.
football on Saturday, man. Be at the Rock this Saturday starting at 6 o'clock against Liberty. So, hey, we're ready. Our staff is ready. We are ready, guys. We're ready for a fun time. But, y'all want me?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's close it out.
Keep it going.
There's no cake this time, unfortunately.
Yeah, there's no cake, man, for my special cacao. But that has been all for 4th Street Sports. We will be back next Monday at 5 p.m. I hope you guys enjoyed this show. We cannot get ready to start the football season. As always, you can check us out on YouTube at Southern Miss Student Media, where you can see our full podcast live with our facial expressions and everything. Or you can listen to us on 88.5 at WSM. And Dima has another reminder.
One more thing, really quickly. If you're not able to listen to the Thursday podcast, we will post the video of us giving our Liberty picks on YouTube. So if you're not able to listen to the full podcast and just want to watch the Liberty picks, it'll be on YouTube Thursday afternoon. So cool. Listen to
Yes.
it. Be awesome. Watch it. Be able to see our faces. But Austin wasn't there.
Yeah, I wasn't there. I was sorry. I had other things going. But hey, you guys did a phenomenal job. And we will end the show like this. Enjoy your day. Have a great meal. 4th Street will be back next Monday, baby. Let's go.
Woo-hoo.
This has been the 4th Street Sports Show. Tune in next Monday at 5.